Roomies, welcome back. Time for another movie review. I'm Maria, and this is Lindsay. We are real former college roommates who love movies. Lindsay has a degree in film, and I review movies for like 20 years. And we're just going over movies that we somehow kind of missed. So it was my pick for today's review, and I chose 1989's Teen Witch. Have you ever heard of this movie before, Lindsay?
No, not at all.
At all. Okay. So I didn't see this when it came out because it's like the same year as like Field of Dreams and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
um, but I seen it on TV later on. Um, 'cause when it came out, it had a $2.5 million budget, right? And the box office is $27,842.
I saw that and I was like, wow.
A mega bomb. Like,
Yeah.
you know. But it's gained like a cult classic following, stuff like that. Because I remember seeing it on TV like several times, um, growing up, you know, and even later, especially on like Freeform when they used to have.
Yeah.
Um, well, I don't watch cable anymore, so they might still do it, but they have like 31 Days of Halloween and like 13 Days of Christmas or whatever, things like that, where they'll show thematic movies and
Hmm.
shows. And so this would pop up on there a few times. And I was just like, oh, I love it. It's just like one of those so bad it's good.
Hmm.
Mhm. It also has a lot of camp in it, which I like.
Yeah.
And then magic, which I also like. The 80s fashion. Oh, great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but it was originally supposed to be like a female version of Teen Wolf, which I also have not seen all the way. I think I've seen part of it. Um,
Hmm.
but they decided to, go with a different story, make it a standalone movie, right? So it's starring this girl, who, of course, is just kind of overlooked at high school, I guess. Her name is Louise.
Hmm.
Which is probably not helping things. Louise doesn't sound like a teenager.
No, no,
Um,
no, no.
yeah. And Louise is played by Robin Lively. I'm not sure if I've seen her in anything else. But the person I recognize the most from this movie, of course, is Zelda Rubinstein. Uh,
Is that the short lady?
yes. So
Okay.
she's the one who plays Madame Serena Alcott, right?
Yeah. That's the
And
only person I know from the movie too. But I know her from
yeah.
Martin.
Oh, you from Martin?
Yeah, there was this episode when Pam got committed because they thought that she was her cousin, and she played her cousin. But her cousin was really committed, but she broke out. And so when they captured her, they thought it was the cousin, but it really was Pam. And so they had to try to break her out.
Oh wow.
So and she was like the head nurse.
Okay, I recognize her from Poltergeist. That's probably her
Oh, is
most
it
famous
right?
role.
Okay.
Um, she was also a part of like Skittles campaign. And, like she also did a lot of like um, activism, advocacy work for uh, shorter people and little people and HIV and AIDS
Okay.
affected people as well. Um,
Is she still with us?
no, she died in 2010. She was 76.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's where I recognize her from is like Poltergeist because she was like in three of those films,
Hmm.
and she's been in some other witchy things too.
Okay.
Other like horror stuff. She was in Tales from the Crypt for one of the Tales of the Crypt. Do you ever watch Tales from the Crypt when it was on?
Yeah.
Yeah, I always
Hmm.
had the hardest time watching the host. That was always the scariest part for me. I would just have to
The
be like,
intro.
oh god,
Yeah.
like I can't. I watch
What's
the
the
stories, but
intro?
I don't want to see the host.
Right. 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 The intro used to get me. I never got used to him popping up.
No, didn't either. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, she was in a lot of stuff. Very well loved as far as like horror films and things like that go.
Hmm.
She was in Witchcraft, which is what I remember too. But
Okay.
back to Teen Witch.
Yeah.
So just going over the rundown of the plot here. So Louise is like 15. She wants to be popular, of course. She wants to be with the quarterback Brad, who seems like a nice guy, except
Uh-oh.
for his girlfriend.
Your sound is going out.
My sound is going out.
Okay. Now you're good.
Okay. um. Yeah. So Brad seems like a genuinely nice guy.
Yeah, he
Uh,
seems cool.
yeah, except for the way that he picks up his girlfriend in the morning. I didn't care for that. He just drives up to her house and honks the horn. I was like,
Well, I mean,
rude.
if it's a daily routine, it's not
Mm-mm.
like they're going on a date.
Don't honk your horn at me.
Well, they didn't have cell phones, so
I don't care. You don't honk your horn at me.
how you supposed to know that they there?
You can knock on the door.
Why you gotta get out the car every morning?
Mm-mm.
You can
Mm-mm.
catch the
Or I'll be
bus. I'm
outside.
not.
I do not like having horns honked at me, period.
Yeah. I
But yes,
mean,
so Brad is with his girlfriend, Randa, which I don't think I just don't even remember hearing her name. But anyway,
yeah.
she Louise is like very into him. She like writes in her diary like stories about him and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
her
Well,
brother.
well, let's start at the very beginning.
Okay.
The music video.
The music video. Oh, yes, and the entrance.
Music
They're doing the
video.
opening credits. Oh yeah,
Yes.
it's very much like very early '90s kind of R&B like music video shoot, where there's a
Mhm.
lot of smoke and like floating silk and like shadows and slow
Yeah.
mo.
And
Yeah,
it was her, it was Louise and what's his face?
Brad.
Brad. Yeah. It was just them two. And then
Mhm,
we find out that it's a dream.
mhm. Yeah, absolutely a dream.
Yeah.
And she wakes
He
up
got
with
it
this little.
bad.
Oh yeah, she's got like little toothpaste on her pimples or whatever. And like
Mhm.
very teenage. And like under her bed, her brother is eating cake and reading her diary. I was like, ew.
It's gross. So
She's getting
gross.
chocolate all over everything.
You're right.
Um, and her brother is let's see, it's played by Joshua Miller, right?
Hmm.
And he's actually done a lot of like really cool writing and stuff since then and all this other stuff. Um, but yeah, his name is here is Richie Miller. And I was like, what? They just use the same name.
Basically.
Yeah. So Richie is a very much annoying brother. He's like very over the top, but he's so funny to me. At one point, his parents think he's on drugs.
Right. Right. Do you think
uh,
he's on drugs? Yeah.
that boy is on something for sure. Uh, but yeah, so she tosses him out and everything, and like puts it in her trapper keeper before she
Right.
goes to school with her friend Polly. They ride their bikes to school, of course. Um, that she has this really mean English teacher, Mr. Weaver, just
He's the
absolutely
worst.
horrible person.
He's the worst.
I did not feel bad for anything that happened to him.
At all. Not one bit.
Yeah, because they're turning in their assignments. She accidentally turns in the diary paper because it's sticky with chocolate. Right, got stuck to all the other stuff, and he reads it out loud. Then says it was her who wrote it and drops it. Like you can go pick it up. Like
Yeah.
okay, and of course she leaves the class. Like yeah, I would never come back.
Mm-mm. No.
Kind of luckily and amazingly, Brad doesn't seem too weirded out by it. So, so I can imagine him being like, "Oh, that's kind of intense. I don't really know you."
Right. Like we
Yeah,
just say hi. That's it.
right. I mean, but that's why she wrote it in her diary because nobody
Yeah.
else was supposed to
Nobody's
read
supposed
it.
to read it. Right.
Right. So she also tries to audition for the lead in the play. She's going to play Ondine. And Brad's going to play the lead and the love interest in the play. And they have a little scene together, and it's pretty good.
Hmm.
Some high school kids look pretty good, whatever. But she does not get the part. It goes to another girl for some reason. We don't get to see her
Mm-mm.
audition. Maybe she was better. Who knows?
Yeah.
Uh, but anyway, she doesn't get it. So of course she's feeling weird. And that night after all that, she's bicycling home. Brad is also driving with his girlfriend or whatever. They're distracted, and they cause her to run off the road. And
Yeah.
he's like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry." He gets out of the car. He's like, "Can I give you a ride home? Are you okay?" She's, "No, no, no, I'm okay." Randa's like, "She said she's okay, bruh. Get back in the car." And
Yeah.
they drive off, and she finds out like her tire was actually busted, so she can't even bike home. And she sees the home of Madame Serena, and that she's a seer. And she goes in there to try and find a phone. Now, did you recognize the house?
No.
It's the same house from the Thriller video.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Okay.
Because I was looking at it, I was like, I know I reckon it looks familiar,
Mm-hmm.
and I couldn't remember, like, figure out why it looked familiar, but it's the same house from the Thriller video.
Mm. I wonder if the house is still there.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's cool.
yeah. So she talks to Madame Serena. She gives her a palm reading, and Madame Serena tells her, "Oh, actually, you're a witch. Like, I know you. Whatever. She this is like your new life. And that you'll get your powers on your 16th birthday. Which is like in a week."
Mm.
And she's like, "Okay, yeah, sure. I just want to get home.
Right,
This is
right.
interesting, but I'd like to go home."
Mm-hmm.
So on her birthday, the following week, nobody shows up to her birthday party,
Yeah.
which is wild to me. But
Yeah.
that's because one of the more popular girls decided to throw a party that same night. And I guess nobody RSVP'd? I don't know.
You know,
Uh, yeah.
it's
So,
I mean, it's a fear.
no,
I
yeah.
yeah, I did not throw parties because I was like, yeah, no, I don't think nobody gonna show up. So
I
it's
mean, I
definitely
never threw,
a fear.
I never threw parties that were for everybody. So
Yeah, yeah.
it was a party for me and my friends and my family. I didn't want all of you there. I don't know all of you.
Right,
Mhm.
right. But
So
yeah,
anyway, that absolutely has to suck.
yeah,
I had a birthday dinner once. I was like, let's go out to dinner for my birthday. And nobody paid for my dinner or a drink.
yeah. I've been there
And I
before.
was like, never again.
Yeah,
Never again. So,
I've been there before. Yeah.
hmm so that night she's like, tossing and turning, thinking about what Serena said or whatever. And the next day, she's in her drama class because she is a drama kid. And I was like, that makes a lot of sense, actually.
Hmm.
And she's a theater kid. And her drama teacher is a lot like her. She's got red hair and everything. And she's like, "Yeah, life is hard. It's kind of what it is. I'm so sorry. But hey, you can still have fun. It doesn't, stuff like that."
Hmm.
So, excuse me. They're like in the prop closet or something. And the teacher finds like this necklace with this amulet. And she's like, "Oh, it's certainly, it looks old, like, and valuable. It's so beautiful. It looks very cheap. It looks like it's gonna turn your skin green,
Right, right.
and like whatever is coating it is gonna flake off real quick. Is what it looks
Hmm.
like. But okay, hey,
Yeah.
the budget is 2.5 million. Okay, we gotta do what we gotta do. So she's wearing the amulet, because like she believes it'll bring her good luck because that's what the teacher told her.
Hmm.
Uh, and she wears it regularly and stuff, and suddenly like things start happening, but it's kind of very subtle, and like you're not sure if it's like people or magic, right? So like
Hmm.
Randa invites her to come to the school dance, the harvest dance, with her cousin David, and I was like, this feels like a setup. But also she noticed her and like actually said something, right, which
Hmm.
didn't really happen before. So okay, all right. And then she goes on the date. Her mom had bought her this green and pink stripe sweater vest for her birthday. She's like, I got this from the Little Miss section. It was expensive. Can I have the receipt?
Yeah.
Yeah. Her parents, I don't know. They're very sweet. Her parents are very sweet, but they don't really, I don't think they're just in tune with what like the fashion of the time would deem as good, because why would you get a teenage girl that?
Yeah.
ever, honestly. Like, so she puts on that new sweater and a shirt with a collar and like a. She looks like she's, I don't know. She looks like she's selling Bibles, right? But she's wearing this to go to the dance. I was like, really? All
Yeah.
right. But her date David matches her because he is very much a nerd and a geek himself. Although he's a little upset that she's not wearing glasses. So, because I guess that
Hmm.
means she's not authentically nerd. I guess.
Yeah, it's not
Uh,
official unless you got on glasses.
right. And he's also just handsy, real aggressive,
Hmm.
not at all charming or funny.
Not in the least.
Right.
Not in the least. He was such a creep.
Yeah. So they get to the dance, and I had forgotten it was supposed to be like a harvest theme because you see like a bunch of hay everywhere, and I was like, "What is going on?"
Hmm.
you know. So she's sitting there with her friend Polly, and they're looking at Brad and Randa dancing. And she's like, "Oh, I wish Brad would look at me," and then he does. Yeah. And then she was like, "Oh, okay. I wish he would come over and talk to me." And
Yeah.
then he does, right?
Right, right.
And he's like, "Hey, can we go outside or whatever?" And she's like, "Yeah, yeah." And really, he just wants to ask her to tutor him in English because he
Hmm.
wants to maintain his grades so he doesn't get kicked off the team. Which
Right.
fine, fair, whatever.
It's
Of
very
course, she's
fair.
just
It's very fair.
right. Of course, she's disappointed because she wants
Yeah.
more, but she says she'll help. No problem. And then Randy comes over and is like, "Give your keys to David, so because we're gonna go to somebody else's house in somebody else's car." I was like, "Why? What? This seems weird. We can't all go in the same car? Okay." So they're in the car and they're on to like the next party spot or whatever. And David is just being reckless in all ways. And she's like, "I just wish you would leave me alone." And he disappears, except for his glasses. Um, and she has to like stop the car. Now,
Yeah.
we never see David reappear.
That's what I was like. I said, we're just gonna act like he just didn't exist. Like nobody's gonna put out a missing person report or nothing.
Like nobody, like Miranda, your cousin has disappeared. Last seen with Louise in Brad's car.
Right.
Nobody.
Right. I thought that was very weird. I mean, I get we got to move on with the story, but
Right.
something like
I
that you just
I thought
can't
they might have like
overlook.
shown him in a different location, maybe. Like maybe he got
Or,
transferred to a Kmart or something, like
right. Or maybe he went to another school or moved out of
something.
town.
Did he disappear from existence?
Right.
We never really know. So I guess she drives home. I don't know. um, and
Yeah, so I was like,
she,
can she not drive or is this a stick?
I don't know. But she gets back home, and Richie is like in her business and like getting on her nerves and stuff. And so she talks. She says, "You're such a dog or whatever," and actually turns him into the cutest little dog.
Hmm.
And he starts freaking out, and they have like this voiceover. And I'm not sure if it's supposed to be like we're hearing the dog's thoughts, as hearing Richie's thoughts as the dog, or if Richie is like communicating with her. I'm not sure. I'm
Right.
not sure completely. Um, but she's like, "Oh gosh," she picks him up and everything. She's like, you stink. Like I need to give you a bath." And she like runs a bubble bath for the dog, and she's like trying to put the dog in the bath, and the dog is fighting.
Hmm.
Does not want to go in that bath.
Right. Absolutely not.
But she gets the dog in there only to find out like it's her brother again. Like he's changed back, and this is because she goes back to visit. She goes back to visit Miss Serena, and she's asking about all these things that are going on, and she's like, "Well, you're baby witch essentially, and like your spells are weak right now, and they can be undone by water, which thank goodness.
Mm.
Um, but that'll get better as you get stronger. And she tells her about like reincarnation and stuff like that. How she was Modesty Miller in her former life, born in
Hmm.
1636, and the amulet she wears had belonged to Modesty in that. And she was like, "But I wasn't even looking for it." She's like, "But it was looking for you." That's the way magic works. The thing is, she seems to have a photo of Modesty.
Yeah, it looked like a yearbook
Yeah, and I
because he had
think
a photo of herself in there too.
cameras were invented. Like
Yeah.
she has a photo of herself, but I guess Serena just took a photo of herself and put it in there.
Yeah.
uh, but anyway, uh,
Right.
she Serena gives her like a book of magic spells to study, and she's like starting to like harness the elements. So she calls like she practices on the wind and the rain and stuff like that, and she casts a love spell to make Brad fall for her. Make him her love slave. I was like,
Yeah.
Serena, why are you encouraging this? Like, Serena has no more.
Mm-mm.
all
That
It
was
is
very
all about
intense.
Serena.
Right. That was
Like,
very intense. I was like, love slave at 16?
yeah,
Like,
and then like she's 16. I expect her to make mistakes, right?
yeah.
Stupid decisions and stuff like that. You're like very old. Actually, I think she's supposed to be like I don't know exactly how old she's supposed to be. She's supposed to probably like over 100 maybe. I don't know, but like
Yeah.
you should not be encouraging this girl to do love.
Right.
Shit.
Right. Right. Like, you should know better. You should know how
Yeah.
this will turn out.
But when she went to do this, Serena was doing this spell on this frog. I guess it was like to like turn the frog into a prince kind of thing.
Yeah. Hey,
Um,
she got needs.
and she's like, I need more magic to do this. She's like, I'll help you with the love spell if you help me with this. So Serena helps her out, and she helps her out with the love spell, tells her what to do, and she leaves. And then we see Serena uh in the apartment still. And like when they changed the frog disappeared. And Luis was like, "Where did it go?" And Serena's like, "Oh, don't worry about that. I know where he is." I was like, "No, where did it go? Where did we send the frog? I need to know."
Right. Right.
But anyway, it's because the frog changed into a handsome prince and is in Serena's apartment. And she's like, "Oh, my darling, I've waited so long to see your face," and all this stuff. Now you're here before me. You can just worship me and adore me. I was like, "Girl,
Right. I just want to hear you say something.
right." And he says, "Ribbit," because he's a frog, girl.
Right. I guess you need another spell to get him to speak English.
But is he a frog, girl?
Yeah.
Are we sleeping with frogmen?
Yeah.
Is this a
Hey,
monster
get it.
effing situation?
You got to get it how you live.
Is he a were frog, or was he a human who got turned into a frog?
Well, he would be able to speak words if
Maybe,
that was the
maybe.
case. Yeah.
So he is a frog. She just turned girl. Get a vibrator, honey.
Sometimes the vibrators just don't cut it.
All he can say is ribbits.
You don't need them to talk to you.
Well, she
What you want
did.
them to?
She's like, I've waited for you to say these things. So,
Yeah. Yeah. But
uh,
in the grand scheme of things, you don't need words.
okay, let's. I mean, just imagine he gets excited and he's making noises, and all the noises he can make are ribbit.
Yeah. Just ribbit, ribbit,
Yeah, I think that's gonna
ribbit.
like kill the mood. Yeah,
Just a tad. Just a
just a little
tad.
bit.
You know.
Uh,
But you gotta have mind control.
oh my
So
god. Well, she doesn't
yeah.
have. Um, so she helps her with that, and now I guess she's stuck with this frog.
Hmm.
And so she also makes like a voodoo doll of Mr. Weaver, but I'm glad they didn't call it voodoo because that's not how it works. Uh,
Yeah.
and like she embarrasses in front of the whole class. He's constantly like embarrassing her and like real hard. Like it's really disturbing, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. Like when she dropped her bag and he went through her stuff.
Yes,
That
abusive,
was
actually,
uncalled for. Yeah.
very much. Wouldn't even let her pick it up.
Yeah, yeah. And then telling the whole class what she got. Like she could have had a medical
Mhm.
condition, and that was the reason why she was on birth control.
Yeah,
And you just told the world or the class.
that was none of anybody's business but hers.
Right. Right.
So she uses her powers to embarrass him with his doll by making him undress himself. And then the principal comes in and is like, "What is wrong with you?" Yeah. And then she takes it all home. But of course, nobody else knows it's anything more than just a regular doll. And so her brother picks it up and then drops it down the stairs. And gets like, he's always eating. He's always eating some dessert in this movie because he's eating like an ice cream cone, a waffle cone with like two scoops. Like, what? Where did you get?
Right. Right.
And so he gets like chocolate on the doll and everything and drops it all down the stairs. And Mr. Weaver ends up falling down some stairs at the
Yeah.
same time. And
Hmm.
then the mom picks it up and is like, oh, what did he do to this doll? Like, why is he always messing with her things? And she puts him in the washing machine. And so this makes Mr. Weaver go through a car wash. But we never learn now. We never really find out what happens when he goes to the dryer. So maybe he just stands in front of a fan.
I don't know.
And then we also never see the doll again.
No, we don't actually.
So who knows about Mr. Weaver's fate? I don't know.
Yeah. Whatever, but whatever he got, he got.
Yeah.
So.
I don't feel that bad about it. I'm not lying. um, but she also uses her powers to help out her drama teacher, Mrs. Malloy. Like she has her like win the lottery and then like find the man of her dreams. And he's like an Argentinian noble or rich guy or something. Like
Hmm.
and she's like, oh, she's like just so elated. She's quit her job. She's like, he's gonna take me around the world and a few other places. And he picks her up in his convertible and everything. And he's a handsome guy, yeah.
Hmm.
And she's just like, "Ah, I'm living, gonna live my dream life. Bye."
I know
Yeah,
that's right.
I know, right? I would do the same.
Okay. In a
And that's probably the
heartbeat.
best thing Louise does for anybody in this film.
Hmm.
You know. Um, so she leaves and everything, and then we also see her using her powers to help Polly like be brave enough to like challenge this student, like because we see these three guys throughout the movie who are just rapping for no reason.
God.
There are lots of musical numbers in this movie that just happen,
Yeah.
which I just love because it's so silly, but it's great, and the songs are not that bad.
All right.
I know, no, I mean like as far as the movie is concerned, like they're not. I'm not gonna claw my ears out because you did this. I'm not necessarily gonna put it on my playlist,
Yeah.
but it works for this. Yeah, I'm not saying they're jams.
No, no, no,
No.
no. That
Uh,
they're not.
but yeah, but they're fun.
Mhm.
Like there's this whole sequence in the locker room, the girls' locker room, and I wonder is like if this is this Louise's perspective or is this happening? Like is this how she thinks? Because it's these cheerleaders who are like, I got the new cheer, and I
Yeah.
like boys, and like that's the whole song, like putting away my toys, putting on lipstick, putting on
Yeah, they don't
um
really make it clear.
stockings and a mini skirt. They don't.
Yeah,
But I could
cause she,
see that being her point of view of them.
right, right, right. Cause she, I mean, she has such a vivid imagination, and on top of that, she's a witch. So it one could make that argument that this is how she is perceiving everyone, but
Mhm.
they don't make it clear on if it
Mm-mm.
is her perception or this is legit happening.
Yeah, because it's a big dance number.
Yeah,
And like the
yeah,
dancing is actually all right. Like I was
yeah,
entertained by the dance number.
yeah, yeah. They they spent a nice amount of the budget on choreography,
Hmm.
and
Um,
original songs.
and original songs.
Hmm.
They actually had to add some of that in. They added, I think they added in "I Like Boys" and the whole scene where her and Brad go to that abandoned house to make out. We can't make out in your car.
Why are we in this abandoned house with no shoes on?
I feel like I
It's
need a tetanus shot to go in here. I don't.
right. Like this is completely under construction, and y'all are walking around, laying down. And you mean to tell me that all y'all did was make y'all did all of this to make out, just to
Well,
make
they
out?
had wanted it to be a little raunchier,
Uh-huh.
initially, but they cut back a lot on that.
Yeah,
So, I mean, sure, it cuts off though.
they
So
could have.
sure, yeah.
Yeah,
All they did
they
was
could have
make
cut the
out,
whole scene. It was stupid.
but they had to. They had to add it for production value. I don't understand that, but okay. So,
Right.
but Polly has this rap battle with these three dudes, and like this is the part of the movie I always remember. I know this by heart, like
Do you
because
really?
it's
Oh
just
wow.
oh yes, because it's just so bad. It's just so bad.
I saw
Oh,
this on Facebook probably a year ago, and I was like, "What the hell?"
oh, I love it. It's so bad.
So yeah.
So bad. And so they have a rap battle uh called Stop Top That. Yeah.
Chop this.
Yeah. I don't really give about trying to top that. What's that? Unreal. Big deal. Yeah. You can try into your blue. I will make a fool of you. Stop that. You know, and that pose. Like, oh,
Right, right. It ain't
oh,
an '80s. It ain't an '80s song without that pose.
oh, this is so awful. Play it again. I love it. The poses, the costume, the hair, like it's just perfect. It's just perfect.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
Oh God, it was bad. It was very bad.
Yeah.
But I remember seeing that. I remember seeing that rap on that rap battle on Facebook, and was just like, "What the hell
I probably
is
posted it.
going on?"
Every few years, I'm like, let's top that, you know.
Right, right.
And like, there have been several remakes of that scene in particular. I put a couple of them on the playlist for you, so you should check
Okay.
those out.
Yeah.
But that's probably like the one of the most popular parts of the movie is that scene because
I
it's
can
just
believe it.
uh it's
I can
incredible.
definitely believe it. Yeah, you can't
And
top that.
no, you can't. I don't really give a about trying to top that, you know. Anyway, uh,
Yeah.
so you know, Brad had come over to to Louise's house to study, right, for English, and she got that spell from Serena, and she was like, "You gotta put this around your bed and say these words and all this stuff, and you have to sit down together." And da da da. So he comes over, and she's hid all the chairs in her room in her closet, and he's like, "Where are the chairs?" She's like, "Oh, they're being reupholstered, so we're gonna have to sit on the bed." Sorry, you know.
Hmm.
And then it was like this. They keep getting interrupted by everybody in the house. Everybody's knocking on the door, coming in the room, and her brother is
And
like,
asking for the chairs.
and right, her brother was like, "Where are the chairs?" She was like, "Don't worry about it, or you'll be eating dog food." And he was like, "Okay, never mind." He also is dressed like a middle aged single woman. Like I don't know what he's anyway. Especially with his hair and like he's eating some other dessert at the same time. Like he is never without food in his hand for
Yeah,
some
it's a
reason.
little weird.
It's always
He's a bit
sweets.
obsessed.
Yeah.
He should have silver teeth by this point.
Maybe he's also a really good brushing advocate. Who knows? Uh, but slow down, my guy, please. Like,
Right.
eat, eat something else, anything else. Uh,
Yeah.
but he leaves because he doesn't want to be a dog again. And her father comes in and he's wearing some cardigan, some ugly cardigan. They love these cardigans in this family.
Hmm.
And she eventually locks the door. She's like, "Oh, finally we're alone." And she sits down on the bed because they try to sit down on the bed like 3 times, you know, and get
Hmm.
out every time somebody comes in. Her dad leaves the door open because I was like, yeah,
Right. Right. Just the fact that they were in her room and that was
right,
okay was just mind-boggling to me because there's
yeah,
no way,
that would not have been okay
no way.
with my parents.
As an adult, there's no way. So,
I mean, in my own house, that's different. But like,
Yeah. Yeah, but no,
so
I'm but not in the parentals.
no. So she starts to say the spell, and he's like, "What are you doing? What are you talking about, Brad? What?" Da, da, da. And she just is like, "You know what? Never mind. This is." She's like, finally, is like, "Maybe I shouldn't do this."
Hmm.
So she doesn't do the spell. So she decides instead of making Brad fall in love with her, she wants to be the most popular girl because Brad says he only basically the only reason he's with Rhonda is because she's popular and everybody wants to be the popular girl.
Yeah.
Oh, like Brad, you seem like a nice guy. Why are you this shallow now? Like, what's happening? But whatever. So she's
Hmm.
like, oh, I want to be the most popular girl. So she goes to Serena, shows her a picture of her favorite pop star, Shayna, who is the one singing a lot of the songs in this
Hmm.
movie. And she actually wrote a couple of them too.
Oh.
Um, she's a composer and stuff. Like, yeah, the actress has a really great career and every stuff.
Hmm.
Um, so she's like, I want to be like Shayna. And so Serena's like, okay, this is the last of my magic to do this. What you'll need to do is like get something of her wardrobe and like one of her records, and then you need to like turn counterclockwise 13 times at 45 beats per minute. Like, I was like, oh, take
Right.
notes. I'm supposed to remember
Okay.
this.
Right. That was a lot.
It was. So she uses her powers to get her and Polly backstage to go see Shayna, and Shayna is under some kind of spell, I guess, and like gives Louise her jacket, and it's like she knows Louise,
Hmm.
she does not. So
Hmm.
Louise gets the jacket, she does the spell, and suddenly she's like got the best clothes, you know, the best hair, right?
Hmm.
And it's kind of cute because like when she went to the dance, she tried to like change clothes and stuff before she got there, or like between leaving the house and getting there, or whatever. But the outfit she chooses is it's not quite right. um, but it looks something like very much like a teen would do, trying to emulate something for the
Hmm.
first time. And this one is and like after this popular spell works, this is definitely the improved version of that.
Yep.
Um, So now everybody's like following her around, talking to her, and like Brad's picking her up with Rhonda in the car to go to school and everything. And like everybody's like copying what she wears, and they're all talking about her and like how they wish they could be her. And it's very reminiscent of Mean Girls,
Yeah.
Regina
Yeah.
George,
Hmm.
and how people were so obsessed with her, knew everything
Hmm.
about her. She wore a thing, so they wore a thing.
Hmm.
Um, it reminded me of that a lot. And she kind
Yeah.
of like forgets about Polly,
Hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. She
one
gets
point,
lost uh
mhm,
in the whole change. Yeah,
yeah,
because there was a point where she did try to sit with her, but then a whole bunch of people tried to sit with Louise and push Polly
mhm,
out. You know,
mhm,
so she just get lost. And then
mhm,
the scene when she was practicing at cheerleading practice, and Polly came through, and that pretty much ended their relationship there.
mhm. Yeah, because
Yeah.
Polly was like, "You don't have time for me in your new life. Go hang out with your new
Hmm.
friends.
Right.
You don't call. You don't come over. We don't ride our bikes together anymore. We
Right.
don't play tennis together. Like I've heard from you. I don't know you anymore."
Yep.
So that ends that. Um, So of course she's actually feeling really lonely because all these people know and talk about her, or whatever, but nobody's really her friend, you know.
Hmm.
And it's getting obsessive, in
Yeah.
my
It was
opinion.
getting a little scary. Yeah.
Yeah, because they show up to her house with posters and saying, "We
Hmm.
want Louise." To what, girl? Are you gonna rip me apart? Like, what's
Right. Like, when
happening?
you get me, what are you gonna do with me?
Right. So she actually leaves out the back, and Brad's like, "I figured you'd be out here," and like he gives her a ride and they're talking or whatever. And he was like, he wanted her to go to the dance with him. And she was like, I can't go with you because she's feeling really bad about the spell and how it's controlling everybody and how none of it's real. And she doesn't feel like herself anymore. but she doesn't know how to explain this to him. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
um, but Brad eventually like takes her on another date to that abandoned house
Yeah.
to kiss her. Yeah. So she starts to wonder, does he really like her, or is it just, the spell? Because there's a
Mm-hmm.
spell on like all of the town, basically. It's a
Mm-hmm.
big spell. So she actually goes to Serena and she's like, I've been looking at this book and I don't see a way for us to reverse this spell. And I would really like it reversed.
Yeah.
And Serena's like, no.
Right.
She's like, do
Right
you see
now.
all the stuff I have
Right. Right. Like the house was upgraded
now? House and wardrobe.
and wardrobe. Right.
hmm
Right.
And she was like, I don't want to do that. Actually, no. So, but she couldn't do it herself, right? And Serena tells her like, you have to believe in yourself. Oh, okay. So how does that end the spell though? I don't. Because there is one point where she had done that play thing, and now she's the understudy, and she's also working on the costumes. And the girl who got the role was about to go on, and of course they told her, break a leg because you are not supposed to say good luck in theater.
Right.
Um, and so that's why people say, break a leg. You're also not supposed to call Macbeth. You're supposed to call it the play or the Scottish play. Um, but anyway, so she tells
Mhm.
her break a leg, and then she trips over a ladder and does that.
Right.
And Polly comes up like, "Did you push her?" I was like, "Dang, Polly, she was not in
But
the
see,
vicinity."
but she also said, "Geez, Louise," and I say that, so I'm like, is this where it came from?
No, 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 no. I'm sure it was
Oh,
around before that.
yeah, because I was like, huh, "Geez, Louise." All right.
They just rhyme. That's all. I'm quite sure it's
Yeah.
older. Because remember, this movie only did not even crack $30,000. So no,
Yeah.
they were
That's
not the
true.
ones to break that into the popular lexicon. I guarantee you.
Yeah. You have a point.
hmm So Serena tells her, the real key to magic is believing in oneself, and she goes to the dance with her, and she looks really great at the dance.
Hmm.
Both of them actually look really good. But I love the costume for Louise. Like I love the shoes. Like it's like a purple velvet shoe with some jewels on it, and the dress so 80s. I love it.
Hmm.
It looks really good on her, and her hair looks really great. Like and there's like actually like glitter in her hair and stuff.
Hmm.
I was like, oh, this is really cute. Actually, I like it. And we have more choreographed dancing, like highly choreographed dancing. I love it. And like
Yeah.
these two dudes lift her on their shoulders and turn her around and everything, 'cause he's the main character,
Yeah.
right? In their lives. Like,
Hmm.
so to me, I'm like, so the spell hasn't worn off.
No. No, not yet.
Okay. Hmm. You know. So Louise gives the amulet to Serena to try and undo things and like be her true self, take that magic off and just be herself. And upon, seeing Louise, of course, Brad is like just staring at her, even though he's there with Miranda the whole time. He is
Hmm.
staring at her. And then, he leaves her and eventually goes up to her to dance with her. And they dance and kiss. And I guess it's supposed to show that he really likes Louise for who she is, not because of the magic. But it's never really clear that the magic ended, to me, in my opinion. I mean, she did
I
give
agree.
the necklace to Serena, but like, there's nothing that we see that indicates the spell is over.
Right, right, right.
But
Just
that's
giving the
in
necklace back doesn't cut it.
right. No, it
Cause
does.
cause I don't think the necklace was the thing that started it all. You know what I'm saying? It was the spells. So something had to
Well,
reverse the spells.
the necklace did amplify her magic. It started amplifying her magic, but she started doing the spells. That's what really made it stand
Yeah.
out. Like with the amulet,
Right.
she was able to say "I wish" and things would happen, but she couldn't
Yeah.
do it. I wish I was the most popular girl, and it worked.
Yeah. Yeah. But if she's doing the spells, it had to be something to reverse the spells.
Right.
Like
It's got to
just
be
having,
something.
yeah, just having that necklace is
Not
not
enough.
given or taken away from the actual spells that she's
Hmm.
doing, you know.
Hmm. Hmm.
So, mm,
I was just like, oh, okay. Um, she did one spell that I thought was funny, where she made it so all the popular girls had to tell the truth all the time, and because they were always like, "Oh, I love your blah blah blah, la, 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 I love this, you look good," and so she does the spell. They're like, "Actually, I hate the way you sound when you sing. You should not be saying happy birthday at all, actually, and you're far too lazy to cover your roots. Everybody can see them. Oh, what about your
mhm.
alcoholic mother?" I was like, "Damn."
Yeah, they was hitting them. They was hitting them. Then one of them pushed the other one into the water. Like that was
Yeah,
funny.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that took the spell off. She was like,
Yeah.
"Actually, I really love your hair." Okay.
Right. Right.
Yeah. But that was the end of the movie. I was just like, that's not enough. I feel like we need one more scene where we show the spell is actually over, right? And that
Mhm.
Brad actually likes her for her. So a lot of times when it comes to this point in the movie, you'll have that scene of kind of like retribution, or that scene of
Mhm.
where, the person gets consequences, like in Mean Girls.
Mhm.
Everybody finds out what Katie's been doing, and like she takes the blame for the burn book and she has to do a little redemption, but we don't get anything like that here.
Yeah. Yeah. They just ride on off into the
They,
sunset. Yeah.
you know, and I guess Louise is giving up on magic, maybe.
Yeah, that's what she said.
Yeah, I wouldn't do all that now. We could just undo the spell.
You
Yeah,
know, just teach me how to reverse it, because if I don't like it, I'll reverse it. But
exactly.
I want to continue to make spells. Yeah.
Right. I would make spells for all the mundane things that I don't want to do, all the chores.
Yeah.
That's what I
Right. Like
really
let's
want.
wash all the dishes. You
Oh,
know,
right. Okay.
let's
Take
clean
out the
the
trash.
toilets. Right.
Right.
So,
Like, yeah, that's what I wanted for it. Like, and
mhm.
traveling.
Yes,
Hmm.
absolutely. I just want to get there. I wish that I was there, and then
Hmm.
I'm there.
I wish I could
Yeah.
teleport. Or
Hmm.
make my bedroom move to a certain location.
You
Just
know.
put it in the house. You know.
Right. Right. Or moving.
Mm.
Yeah. I would definitely use a spell to move.
Oh God, yes.
Yeah. So.
But that is Teen Witch.
All right. Well, let's get into our rating system.
Yes.
So we have one movie real trash AF, two it exists, three entertaining, four great, five a true classic.
Hmm. What would you
Maria
give it,
was
Lindsay?
you want me to go first? So I would give it a two.
Hmm.
It just existed to me.
I would give it a 3.
A three. So you were entertained?
Yes.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
didn't keep my attention. Like it was easy for me to veer off and either think or do something else.
Oh no, I was watching it.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Um, I like all the music scenes. I
uh-huh.
think they're very fun. I think it's a very fun movie. Um,
Yeah. It's definitely not to
and
be taken
definitely
seriously.
no, not at all. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that. It's
I felt
definitely it's more fun, more camp, stuff like that.
hmm Yeah, I feel like they set this up for failure though, because had they went with their first mind and made it like a female Teen Wolf,
Hmm.
or had it come out at a different time instead of going up against Field of Dreams, like what?
Yeah, that
I
release
think it
date was
would have.
crazy.
Yeah, I think those two things really killed it.
Hmm.
You know, because I feel like it would have been a better script if it would have been a female Teen Wolf.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
and then oh my God, going up against who told them to go up against Field of Dreams?
It seems like y'all wanted the movie to fail. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like y'all did this on purpose. Like y'all knew this. Like y'all just really had a feeling it was trash, but we just gonna put it out anyway. just like screw it, we're gonna put it out, you know. Or maybe there were some people that got into it with one another and they bombed it unintentionally. I don't know, but
No, you could not bomb anything that badly intentionally. That would be too
yeah,
hard, too coordinated.
yeah, yeah,
You need to hear about
yeah, yeah. I mean, it probably was worse than what they thought it would, because
it.
they probably had it in their head like, hey, it ain't gonna give us field of dreams. I wonder how many screens it had.
That's a good question.
Yeah, but yeah, they probably had it in their mind that it wasn't going to win or even come close to field of dreams, but to bomb the way it did, that's crazy.
Hmm.
I've never seen one be that bad.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. And it was
Yeah.
released like two. It was released 2 days after Field of Dreams and Pet Cemetery.
Right,
Competition was real
right.
stiff. Although I could
Competition galore.
understand kind of why they would have done that because these are very different genres
Yeah,
as far as like Field of Dreams, Pet Cemetery, and Teen Witch are concerned. Like these are gonna be some different audiences.
right.
So I can kind of understand that, but like, oh, they probably had no idea how big Field of Dreams was gonna be. Like,
Hmm.
so
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, Kevin Costner was still a deal back then. You know.
yeah, yeah. But if you build it, they will come. We know that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So. Mm,
but I do really like it. I think it's a lot of fun. It should not be taken seriously. It's very camp. I love the '80s fashion in it. It's
yeah,
just that I think that is honestly one of the best parts.
I agree with
Um,
that.
yeah. I do
That
like
I do agree with.
yeah. I mean, I was like, I'd wear that dance look like for like a little cosplay. I think it's cute.
Hmm.
Um, I did really like Zelda in here. She's always charming. Um, but yeah, it's just fun. And so it's been, a cult, as I said, a cult classic. So it's gotten more popularity. It's went on video and stuff like that. So it's been on HBO.
Hmm.
It's been on Cinemax. It's been on the Disney Channel. They have midnight movie screenings of this movie.
Oh yeah.
Um, yeah. And there's a podcast called How Did This Get Made, which I listen to a lot.
Hmm.
And they did an episode on this like not too long ago. So I can't wait to listen to it. Because they talk
Okay.
about like the movie. They're all comedians and like writers in Hollywood and stuff. So they
Okay.
have really great insight and really great jokes. I also put that on the playlist for you. Uh,
Okay.
so I really do love their show about that. And they also like go through like some reviews. They'll go through a 5-star review and a 1-star review to see how people are feeling about it. It's great.
Right. Right. Right.
Um, so there's been also parodies, of course, and homages to top that. There was one featuring Aaliyah Showcat or Showcat. I'm not quite sure how you say her last name. But there are also other ones, of course, if you look it up. People have called it "So 80s It Hurts," uh, which I love a lot. Um,
Yeah.
and then there was one of like the critical responses. This one they cite in Wikipedia is honestly kind of mean to me, which I don't think is like deserved. But it says, what's his name? Chris Willman from the Los
Okay.
Angeles Times called it complete teen wish fulfillment fantasies. Yes, condescending, moralizing. I guess I don't remember that part. Um, asinine musical montages. You don't like fun? Horrifying pop songs. I've heard worse. Please, especially
uh,
from the '80s. I've heard worse. Um,
Worse than
and but
top that.
Yeah, well, top that is
Okay.
like kind of like an in movie song. It's not like a song. Something like the songs that Shayna are
Okay.
doing.
Okay.
So
I
like
got you.
Popular
Hers
Girl.
weren't bad.
Um,
Yeah. Hers weren't
yeah.
bad.
I wanna be the most popular girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And then what was the other one? The fine. It's gonna be my finest hour. I was like, they're not bad for the movie.
Mm.
They're not
Mm-mm.
horrifying. Like,
Yeah.
um, French kissing, I guess, is bad. he cites French kissing. I don't, but like it, but he doesn't say anything about it. So it's just like saying toaster. Okay, what's the problem? you know,
uh,
blatant product plugs, which I didn't notice.
I didn't notice them either.
I didn't notice. But I did watch the credits, and they do thank some of the people. So it has like Coca Cola, I guess, with had some product placement, and Adidas as well. But I honestly didn't
Yeah.
notice.
Um,
Um,
I mean, I noticed when they were in the boat,
mhm.
Brad had on a Adidas windbreaker, but I mean, that's that wasn't. I mean, that wasn't blatant, even though it had big old Adidas on. I mean, that was normal.
Right.
Now,
It wasn't
if
like
the
they
boat was
zoomed
made
in on the
by
Adidas or like,
right, right now, if the boat was made by Adidas, then
you're right.
yeah. But him
Where
having
they
on a
see the shore
windbreaker,
thing. Yeah.
right, right. But him having on a windbreaker that said Adidas, okay, that's what people wear.
Also, very right. It's very normal for the time,
Yeah,
so it
right,
would not
right,
stick out as branding to me.
right.
Um, and I'm sure they were drinking some cokes at some point, but who wasn't? Oh, there was the
Who wasn't?
whole it was a vending machine. That's what it was.
But Coke has vending machines. I don't think it was blatant. They didn't like zoom in and give
Yeah,
it like 5 seconds or anything like
right.
that. That's
Yeah.
that's product placement when they or like annoying product placement when
Mhm.
they give it
Mhm.
its own spotlight. But when it blends in with everything else and it's normal, that's not
Mhm.
annoying. It just is
Yeah.
what it is.
A can of Coke was 60 cents.
Shh. That mug is like
Yeah.
250 now.
I know, right? And and it was used to show that Brad is like a nice guy. Because she put
Mhm.
it in there and she couldn't get the Coke out. It wasn't coming out, you
Mhm.
know. And the button on the vending machine was huge. It was bigger than her hand. I was like, whoa.
Mhm. I remember
Um,
those old school vending machines.
yeah. And like the people behind her were like, hurry up. I was like, are you hurry to lose your money too, girl? Like, chill. And Brad comes by, he like knocks the machine and hands it to her. It's like, oh, he's a nice guy. So that's what you really take away from the scene rather
Yeah.
than, oh, it's Coke. Like, I don't know.
I mean,
Maybe
what you want it to
vending machines
be?
weren't as common in high schools back then, I guess.
They were when I was in high school. But
Exactly. They
I,
were when I was in high school, but this was before our time in high school.
yeah, this is way before our time. So,
Mhm.
but yeah.
I'll never forget this one girl thought Fruitopia. You remember Fruitopia?
Hmm.
She said, oh, I thought it was called Fruitopia. And I can understand if you maybe never heard it, but there were commercials all the time, like saying
All
the name.
the
So,
time.
yeah,
Right.
I was
All
like,
the
oh,
time.
okay.
And they
And
were
then
entertaining at that. So
mhm,
you watched them.
they're very stuck with you. So I was like,
Right.
I wonder where she got that from. But
Entertaining.
also, the guy who plays her father is Dick Sargent, and he's a rather famous, very famous actor. He was on Bewitched for a while,
Okay.
and this critic cites that. I guess maybe he thinks it's stunt casting or something.
Mm, okay.
Yeah, it doesn't. I don't get it.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, you just. It seems like you just don't like fun. I don't know what to tell you, Mr. Woolman.
Yeah, it sounds like this person just hates this genre of
hmm
films. So yeah,
Yeah. Um, but yeah, it's got like 43% on Rotten Tomatoes, like 4.9 out of 10, right?
yeah,
But I think it's a fun movie. To watch during Halloween, just, just a little fun.
yeah, yeah.
And they've
Well,
been trying to do like remakes and stuff like that. Um,
do
like
you
since like
think
the
that this can
2000s.
be remade?
Absolutely. I think can be remade, and I would really love for them to like lean into the campiness and stuff like that, and update some things as well.
Yeah. I don't think it should have a theatrical release. I think it should be like a free form movie.
I don't care how they do it. I would love to see it.
Yeah.
I would be really interested to see like who they would choose to like do the music and stuff like that.
Mm. What's that lady name? That Carpenter lady? I can see her.
Sabrina Carpenter.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can see her doing it. You know, I just learned about her probably like a month ago.
Yeah, she's a new artist. She did start as a Disney kid, but that was, of course, we were
Yeah,
full grown adults. We were not like no, we
yeah,
were not watching Disney by the time she came along. So
yeah. Right, right. And
mhm.
yeah, I can definitely see her. I can see Ariana Grande. She might be
Yeah.
too old, but yeah, Sabrina Carpenter for
Well,
sure.
no, I mean to like do the music, right?
Right.
Not to
Yeah,
star.
yeah. Yeah, no, no, not star, but to do the music and be that music person in the movie.
I was thinking Dua Lipa.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I can
She
see
has
that
a lot
too.
of like very upbeat pop, but a lot of disco song elements to her stuff too. So I
Hmm.
could see that working.
Yeah, yeah, I can see that too.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
this one I think could be a movie. I don't think it would need like to be a series or anything.
No.
If you did like maybe 6 episodes, I think would fit the bill. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But no,
but
I think a movie would suffice.
yeah.
Yeah,
But that is Teen Witch, the magic of Teen Witch.
yeah. That is Teen Witch. So next time we have been battling trying to get this movie for a while, and it's finally back on Tubi. Mo money.
Oh, okay.
More money, more money, more money. So yeah. So more money is the next movie. So Maria, where can they
Yes.
find you?
Oh, you can find me online pretty much on Blue Sky now. So you can find me there at Valor More Dollars. That's VALARMOR dollars. I'm also on another podcast called Nerdgasm Noir, where we talk. It's like five black women talking about nerdy, geeky, pop culture, tech things, sometimes politics as well. So you can come join us over there. And where can they find you, Lindsay?
You can find me everywhere at L underscore Ranelle. That's L underscore RANELLE. And also on my other podcast, The Ish We Talk, where me and my cousin
Mm,
talk about a variety of topics.
they do. They do.
Yeah.
You should check them out.
So,
Lots of topics to talk about this week. I know.
you know, I had to make an executive decision that for the most part, unless it's something extreme, we are not going to talk about the president.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
we were going to talk about the executive orders, and when I got to reading the list, it just went dark, and I was like, I can't do this.
No. 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 I mean, yeah.
Cannot do this. So yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. So if you want non presidential news, come on over.
Yes. Y'all need a little respite, a little refuge. Go.
Yes. So
So
yeah.
subscribe,
So
leave a comment, leave a like, let us know what you think.
absolutely,
Let us know if you
absolutely.
have any recommendations.
Yes, we are definitely open to recommendations because it may
Hmm.
be a movie that neither one of us is watching. Those are always fun as well. So
Yes, they are. First time. I
yeah,
like those too.
yeah, yep. So yeah, so this is episode 71 of Roomies Review the Movies, and we will see you guys for episode 72.
Oh,
Bye.
honey.